What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I put it up. Thanks everybody for supporting. This video is entitled Confident or Arrogant. There's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. And sometimes I think some of us don't realize if we're confident or arrogant because we're putting on a facade, right? So when you're confident, you're self-assured. You are self-assured in your own abilities. You're able. You believe in yourself. But you also know your limitations. When you're arrogant, it's kind of like an exaggerated sense of confidence where you don't necessarily you're not taking into consideration your own limitations. You just like you can do anything, and you're kind of reckless. You believe in yourself to the point where it's delusional. And this is where sometimes in society we have these issues where people think that they're confident when they're just insecure or arrogant. When you're confident, you live in reality. A confident person knows what they're great at, what they're good at, and what they're not so good at. An arrogant person just is phenomenal at everything. Just because they feel that way. It's a feeling. Arrogance is more of a feeling, and confidence is more of a confidence is also a feeling, but it's something that winds up being backed up by experience and accomplishment. You don't necessarily have to have experiences or accomplishments to be arrogant, But there is a part of that when people are confident and they get some experience and they get some accolades under their belt, and then they become arrogant. And this is one of the things that some people feel like happens to a lot. You get to a certain position, and now you feel like you're untouchable. You feel like you're the greatest of all time. You feel like can't nobody tell you nothing. You're the best that ever done did it, but you ain't really done nothing compared to what the best did. And you start slacking. You start overlooking the things that made you successful because you got arrogant. You see yourself as the pinnacle when you're not. See, a confident person will put in the work. A confident person puts in extra work because confident people normally are confident in their abilities, but they don't have a problem outworking and out preparing and out studying people. Arrogant people, on the other hand, will have a propensity to not outwork you. To not outstudy you. They just think it's in the bag. When I show up, it's in the bag. Remember Derek Luke's character from Friday Night Lights. All I gotta do is show up. That's when you become arrogant, right? Sometimes people don't take into consideration that when you're confident, you understand the importance of the people around you and how they actually make things better or easier for you. But when you're arrogant, you wound up being like, it's all about me. Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. Anybody know that Temptations reference? That's when God, I was about to say Eddie Kane. I'm tripping. Then Eddie Hendrix. And I always listen to his music too. David Ruffin, when Leon played David Ruffin, and David Ruffin was like, we need to call it the David Ruffin in the Temptations. That's what happens when you get arrogant. And that's the thing about confident people can handle power. Arrogant people get, they get a little power hungry and drunk, off of power to the point where they're not they're slipping. And part of the reason I came up with this, I was at work, and one of my coworkers told me that the Texans signed Duke Johnson. And I was like, don't they have, I forgot Deontay. It's either Foreman or Freeman. I forget which one right now. I was like, but isn't he good? And it's like they cut him. I was like, what? Now for all of y'all that don't watch football, at Texas he ran for 2,000 yards, but he kind of hurt when he first got to the league. And the Texans been waiting on him to be 100%, and now he is. So he got cut because he got arrogant. And when they cut him, I think the coach just signed him. But he did one of the dopest things. He says basically, he's sorry to the city of Houston. He's sorry to the Texans that he didn't grow up like he should have. And he's not going to need another wake-up call for him to get it together. And that's a sign of somebody who's arrogant. Like an arrogant person, well, he's a sign of somebody who takes responsibility, who just became a grown man. But prior to that, admitting his faults, a lot of times arrogant people need a wake-up call. And sometimes arrogant people are so reckless they need multiple wake-up calls because they live a life of thinking that they're the exception, they're special, they're the exception to the rule. Nothing's going to happen to them. It's not, reality might have set in on you, but reality doesn't work for me that way. I'm different. And this becomes, that pride that happens, the pride comes before the fall. And this is, a lot of times arrogant people are prideful. Confident people, they can have pride in their abilities, but not necessarily prideful. And sometimes, there's a part where people are boastful, and that's hard for people to understand the difference. Because if you boast a lot, if you're confident and people want to say I'm outspoken, here's the difference. When you're confident and you're outspoken, and boastful, a lot of times that's like the Muhammad Ali type, where even Floyd Mayweather is that type, Chad Johnson was that type, where you're not actually talking for them, you're talking for you, because it makes you work harder that you didn't put these words out there. Like even like a person like Deontay Wilder, the type of person that speaks it into existence. Sometimes people say things and people go, they're cringeworthy, and you're like, oh, that person's arrogant, and it comes off as arrogant, but they're saying it so they can look at themselves and say, I did say that, I gotta back this up now. Let me put I gotta put some overtime in it because I said that. That's part of their own little internal mechanism now, and that's few people can pull that off. I'll say that. A few people have the guts to even go that route. Other people just talk. They're arrogant and they talking, but they're really not putting in the work to back it up. They just talking. They're trying to talk you out of giving them that work. They're hoping to beat you mentally, so they don't have to deal with you when it's actually time to sit right in front of you. That's arrogance, because that's taking shortcuts. And sometimes people don't get that part of it. Sometimes being eccentric can be viewed as being arrogant, because now a diva personality is looked at as arrogant. You get what I'm saying? When we call men and women divas, we call them arrogant. They let their talent overshadow. They let their persona overshadow their talent. So now everybody has to do stuff. People would consider, I hate to say this, but Lauryn Hill, they would consider her arrogant now, because confident people have a sense of humility. Arrogant people don't have a sense of humility. And a confident person understands how to deal with people. An arrogant person doesn't care how they deal with people. So it's a difference, man. And sometimes people don't know who they are, because you give a person does a few good things and then they turn. and that's, you figure out which one when it happens. And sometimes you need to get a little success to figure out which one you are really. So I'm done with this one. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.